if all goes well, we're gonna hit the key and we'll hear some cool noises coming out of this thing. Ah, uh-oh, that ain't good.
Hi folks, and welcome to Center Lane. I'm Bruce Hitchin. I'm here at the Grand National Roadster Show in Pomona, California. This show is in its 72nd year, and it's the longest running indoor car show in the world. In these buildings, there's about 500 cars, and there's a whole bunch more outside. One of those cars is a '29 Dodge, which Jellybean AutoCrafters has put together and is competing for the AMBR Award. A few weeks ago, I went and visited Jellybean, and they showed me the car when they were preparing it for the show.
Yeah, it's a 1929 Dodge. It's a DA Sport Roadster. At the time, it was a hot rod of the time. It was a 12-volt car, which was really rare back then, as the cars were 6-volt. It also had a 6-cylinder motor in it and 63 horsepower. So for back in the day, this was quite a high-performance car. The car came in as a driver, very poor driver. The stance was wrong. It had a lot of really bad issues. And so we took care of all that. We took the car down to bare bones, every bolt, nut, and everything was all taken apart. New wiring, brakes, all through.
So this car has kind of evolved over the time when it's been here. It started off as a pretty simple project, just correct the ride height, clean up a couple of details. And then as we kind of got deeper into the project, it morphed into, okay, let's paint it, let's make it something really cool.
We're building a high-end street car. It's going to drive excellent. It's going to be a beautiful looking car. It'll be stunning, actually. But the main thing that we concentrated on the car was how it drives and how it performs. I really like the look of it because it does look like carburation here, but it's got injection inside, right? So the engine itself is kind of the jewel of the car. It's a 1952 Canadian Plymouth block, which is extremely rare for engines. And we also had a hand-built fuel injection that's going into there. There's some really rare vintage racing pieces that are in the car. The wheels also are one-off pieces that we designed and made, so the wheels themselves will be the only ones in the world like it. The original frame was actually in excellent condition, and one more thing about the Dodge, as compared to the other manufacturers, is the frames, they basically use truck frames on their cars. So to even put a V8 into a Dodge of that era was not an issue. The frame's extremely strong. So we used the frame that was there. We changed the front cross member over to a modern suspension, but that's about the only modification we had on the frame itself.
The amount of man hours to build a car like this depends on how complicated you want to get. Generally speaking, a pretty basic car, you'll be spending 500 to 800 hours on it. Typically for the stuff that we're doing, we're spending 1,000 hours plus. What's been neat about this car though too is guys have kind of broken out their creative skills and said, you know what, I'm going to come in an evening and I'm going to do something really creative off the clock, just to give them a chance to build something totally unique, totally one-off pieces. And things you can't really charge your customer shop rates for, but you want to put them on the car because it makes it your own personal touch on each vehicle.
One thing that's unique about the Dodges is that they didn't use any wood for the structure on the underbody. Typically there's wood in behind here and it's all nailed, the body's nailed to it. This one is all metal all the way through. The only thing that was wood were the floorboards, but we've changed that over to metal now. This way it's a much stronger floor as well. That'll be a much safer car. The car itself is quite rare. It's what they call a DA Sport Roadster. It was a 12-volt system back then. It was only a 6-volt, what most cars had. It also had a 6-cylinder motor, which was almost unheard of back then, and it was 63 horsepower. So in a sense, it was a hot rod when it was brand new. So for us to modify this into more of a hot rod, more of a, not modern, but close to, is a real privilege because it still pays respect to what the car was when it was initially built, and now the client can have that as a much more reliable piece. When the car initially came in, it was a running car, but it was not a safe vehicle. The paint on it was old and terrible. It needed to be redone in a big way. And so we ended up stripping it down, doing the metal work that it needed. There was a lot of rust in these areas here and stuff like that. There wasn't many dents. It was, that part was good, so it was quite good in that way. But these cars were never straight. And so what we've done is we've done all the metal work to a level where, as you can see now, the paint has got a really good reflection on it. Anything you put here, it's like a mirror. And so with our bodywork process that we use, that's how we got it to that. So all your door gaps are modern spec as well. So a new car has about 1/8-inch door gaps, so does this car. And so when this door is closed, This whole area here looks like a mirror, so anything that's in here beside it is reflected on it. When this car came in, this engine was already in the car. It was running really poorly. It was leaking gas, it was leaking oil and leaking water and smoke at the back, that sort of thing. We did a little bit of research as to what it was. It turned out to be extremely rare Canadian Plymouth block, so we felt this would be the perfect one to use. It just fit the car so well. From there, we went and got an Edgy head, which is extremely rare. It's a reproduction piece. There was only 15 ever made of the reproductions. This bracket that you see here, that's all hand built. We built this little pivot here. When the throttle moves, this goes back and forth. That's all hand created in the shop here. We're trying to get an old school look, something that somebody could have built in the 50s, because the motor is a 1952, so we thought that would be the era that we'd kind of stick to as far as the build is concerned. So the bracket holds the pivot, it holds the coil, and also the oil filter. These cars never had oil filters. In 1952, they didn't have oil filters in the car, so any car you see with an older car like that, it would have been either a dealer installed piece or it would have been an aftermarket piece altogether. We looked for a long time to get this piece. The factory one had a stainless steel piece here, but it was just impossible to find. This car's too rare for that. So we ended up making it. So we took a piece of brass, a D-shaped piece of brass. We ended up then forming it around the corner here and on the bottom. It looks pretty basic now that it's done, but this cowl is, from top to bottom, is angled this way. So that means it's a compound curve. It's not just going over a round pipe and bending it. You had to figure out this angle this way and that way at the same time. That makes it an extreme challenge. You've only got one chance when you're working with the brass. You make it wrong and it's done. You got to start all over again. So Kurt's a master fabricator with metals and all sorts of things, so he nailed this part out perfectly. So it comes all the way down here. This piece here was never there from the factory vehicle. There was just bolts here and here and here, all the way along. What that did is that held the body to the frame. So we fabricated this brass piece to cover them all, so you don't have these visible bolts. Just give it a cleaner look. Typically when you see a radiator on an older vehicle, a 20s or 30s vehicle, they're either black or they're aluminum. And if they're really old, they're just plain brass. We decided to go a different route here. It's a copper radiator, but we painted it all black. And we just sanded the front slightly just to remove the paint off the front lips. This way here is not black and it's not aluminum or copper, so you got a very unique look. As a person walks by the car, the light actually shimmies back and forth because these bars are so thin. The way it comes across, it actually looks as if the light's following you as it goes along. It's quite a neat effect. And that effect is actually, quite honestly, was a surprise. We weren't going for that, so it was a bonus to what we had done. So this is the factory logo on the car. It's the only marking on the car that actually says Dodge on it. They didn't have any side scripts or rear script. This was the only way to know what vehicle it was. Initially, this car would have come with a single carburetor. What we decided to do, being a hot rod, we went with dual. They look like carburetors, but they're actually fuel injected. These are hand-built units. So it looks almost like a Stromberg carb type of deal, but there's actually, instead of having a float bowl here, there's actually fuel injectors inside here. So you got your fuel line coming in, and you have your electrical coming from the bottom. So the look is the way it was as far as the carburetor is concerned, but the function is fully modern, fully reliable, better power, better fuel economy, everything that an EFI system does. The intake manifold was an amazing score. This is one of 5 ever built. In 1952, this company closed down. It was Tattersfield. They closed, and I was able to purchase this part from the owner's son from a private collection. So we're really, really proud and honored to have this on this car.
Things like cars not starting first time around, especially with computer controls, it's not uncommon. Normally we're not on the big time crunch that there is now. And so you've got time to step back, take your time, bring in pieces if you need it. In this particular case, we're on such a tight time schedule right now that there just isn't time to order something in from a manufacturer that takes 3 or 4 days to get here. We've gone through and tracked all the wiring. So down inside of here, there's the throttle position sensor that lives in the back of the units back here.
Right.
So we pulled that off. That seems to be defective. So basically we've narrowed it down to, at this point, either crank trigger and throttle position sensor are both creating issues. With an AMBR Award car, part of your judging is that the car has to run. It needs to drive into the building under its own power and appear to be streetable as far as the way it runs. It can't be coughing and sputtering and spitting. If it doesn't run, they won't even judge it. So to have a car that wouldn't start makes the thousands of hours that are in this car useless.
So we brought 2 parts in, the same part number, different manufacturer. Neither of them fits. That's one of those bizarre things that happens in this industry sometimes. The orientation in the back here is incorrect. So neither of these here will bolt up. So we're back to square one.
Yeah, it gets pretty stressful when you're a week away from departure and the thing won't run. Stress level comes up pretty good.
You guys, the parts arrived. This should be the problem solution right here.
And well, this system is pretty complex too, with the dual injectors on it. And so the balance between the two is going to be pretty critical. So there's a lot of different things that could potentially go wrong with the system as far as initial tuning goes. But once you get it dialed in, it's going to be really, really cool.
The Grand National Roadster Show is on another level. It's not just a show. It's the granddaddy of all car shows. It's the show to go to.
What does it mean for you to be here at this show?
For us, it's a complete honor to be here. I can honestly say that. We are among the best of the best. There's 4 cars here where the builders are Hall of Fame people. These are the top name brands in the world, and we're competing head to head with these people.
So tell me about some of the things that the judges are looking for when judging a car like this.
The main thing they're looking for is how good does it look, how unique is it. In that way, it really gives us a lot of freedom, and it challenges us to reach that next level. From there, they look for perfection. In paint, for example, they'll literally take a special light to look at the color of the car, the paint, door edges, under the door, between the frame and the body, make sure it's all wet sand and polished to perfection in those areas. They look for perfection. These are the top 12 cars in the world.
Normally, you know, roadsters and hot rods, we think of Fords. A bit unusual to have a Dodge at a show like this, I guess, right?
Yeah. We get that comment all the time. A lot of people come here, and no offense to these cars, but they're saying, I'm sure glad it's not a Ford or a Chev. It's something different, right? And that is also one of the things that the judges really go for as well, because they want to see unique. You know, as a show promoter, I would say let's bring the unique cars, because that's what brings more people, and it just builds the industry really well, right? So, yeah, I think that's a really big plus for us. And being a Canadian builder too, it makes us stand out a little bit differently from everybody else, right?
Sure.
So,
well, Ewald, you know, win or lose, it's a beautiful car.
Thank you.
What would you say about your team and the people that have worked on this car to get it to this level?
The guys are amazing. They're just absolutely fantastic. I can't say enough good about them. These guys spent some weekends on the car, donated time. They put every effort that they possibly could. Now, these are top of the line guys, and they're putting the extras in there just to make sure we got here, that the car would be as good as it can be. Just a great group of guys. At the same time, though, so are the clients. These clients are passionate. This is typically, it's their passion. They've dreamed about this car for who knows how long. It's not easy to be the guy who cuts the checks all the time. They look at the work, they see what they want, and they see this is exactly what they're looking for. And sometimes we blow their minds a little bit as well, but they're great people. So it's just an honor to work for these people as well. It's the clients really that push us the most. Yes, we like the shows, but the clients are the ones that are saying, this is what I want. They have a dream of what it's going to be like. We then make it into reality, and we add a little bit of our own flavor in there, stuff like that.
Maybe the second time in history, the 34 Chevy is America's most beautiful roadster.
It's really exciting, absolutely. It's top of the world. This show is the top. The class we're in is the top of the world. It's beyond exciting.